The metal door slid open with a soft hiss as Olivia Taylor stepped into the luxurious apartment. For the first time, she clutched her small bag of belongings and tried to calm her racing heart. This job paid triple her previous salary and included free housing in one of the most expensive buildings in New Houston. She still could not believe her luck. The apartment was stunning with tall windows that looked out over the city. Glass and chrome furniture gleamed in the sunlight. The walls were decorated with strange artworks that seemed to shift colors as she moved past them. Olivia was so distracted by the view that she almost missed the tall figure watching her from the kitchen doorway. The alien woman stood nearly 7 feet tall with iridescent blue skin that seemed to shimmer under the lights. Her eyes were large and completely black without pupils. Her body was humanoid, but more slender with longer limbs and delicate fingers that ended in short claws. She wore a simple white dress that contrasted beautifully with her skin. Olivia froze. She had been told her employer was from the Lysithian Empire, but nothing had prepared her for the reality of being alone with an alien. The alien woman smiled, showing teeth that were just a bit too sharp to be human. "Good morning, Miss Taylor. I am Naya, third daughter of House Vex. Welcome to my home." Olivia managed a small curtsy, like she had been instructed during her brief training. "Honored to meet you. Lady Vex, please. Call me Naya." The alien woman moved with surprising grace considering her height. "We will be living together after all. I understand humans prefer informality with those they share space with." Olivia nodded, trying not to stare. Her job description had been vague. At best, she was hired as a caretaker, which could mean anything from maid to personal assistant. No one had told her exactly what caring for an alien entailed. "Would you like a tour of your new home?" Naya asked. "Yes, please." Olivia followed her new employer through the apartment, trying to memorize the layout. The kitchen was filled with both human appliances and strange devices Olivia did not recognize. The living room had a sunken conversation pit filled with cushions instead of furniture. There were 3 bedrooms, one clearly meant for Olivia with a human-style bed and bathroom. "This will be your space," Naya said, gesturing to the bedroom. "No one will enter without your permission. Not even me. Privacy is important to humans." "Yes." "Yes, thank you," Olivia said, surprised by the consideration. The third room made Olivia pause. It was filled with plants. Some looked like earth varieties, but others were clearly alien with strange colors and shapes that seemed to move slightly, even without wind. A small stream ran through the center of the room and the humidity was much higher than the rest of the apartment. "This is my meditation garden," Naya explained. "I require the moisture and certain biological elements from my homeworld. The plants produce compounds. My species needs to remain healthy, so part of my job is taking care of these plants." Olivia asked. Naya tilted her head in what Olivia assumed was the alien equivalent of a nod. Among other things, they finished the tour in the kitchen. Naya opened what looked like a normal refrigerator, revealing shelves of labeled containers. "I have prepared a schedule of my dietary needs." The alien woman pointed to a tablet on the counter. "Most ingredients have been adapted for Earth preparation methods. The ones that have not are clearly marked with special handling instructions." Olivia skimmed the tablet, surprised at how organized everything was. There were detailed recipes and feeding schedules, even pictures of what the final dishes should look like. "Was told you would need training," Naya said, watching Olivia's reactions. "But perhaps you are already familiar with xenobiological dietary requirements." Olivia laughed nervously. "I worked in a diplomatic restaurant for 3 years. We served minor dignitaries from the coalition planets, but nothing as high-ranking as someone from the Lysithian Empire." Naya's mouth curved in what might have been a smile. "Excellent. Then you understand the basics. My needs are not complicated by your standards. I require 3 meals daily with specific mineral supplements. I cannot consume certain earth proteins. They are toxic to my system." Olivia nodded, making mental notes. "So, I'll be cooking for you, doing plant maintenance." "What else does the job entail?" Naya gestured for Olivia to sit at the kitchen island. "I require a human cultural liaison, someone who can help me understand your species better. I am here as part of a diplomatic exchange program, but formal diplomatic settings provide limited exposure to how humans Truly live. Olivia raised her eyebrows. So I'm supposed to teach you about humans? Not exactly. Naya tilted her head. The Lysithian Empire has extensive files on human biology, psychology, and sociology. What we lack is understanding of human emotional contexts, how you form bonds, how you build trust. Our species approaches these things very differently. Olivia wasn't sure what to make of this. It seemed strange that an advanced alien civilization would need help understanding something as basic as emotions. Naya must have sensed her confusion. She continued, My species evolved as apex predators on our world. We lived solitary lives until relatively recently in our development. We still struggle with certain social concepts that come naturally to humans. Olivia said, beginning to understand. So this is like a cultural exchange. Naya nodded. I have observed that human males react differently to me than human females. I require someone who can explain these differences. Olivia thought back to her brief interview. The hiring manager had been vague about many details but had been insistent that they needed a female caretaker. Now she understood why I can try to explain human behavior, but am not an expert. Olivia admitted Naya made a strange, chirping sound that might have been laughter. I do not expect expertise, merely honesty and perhaps friendship in time. The universe is vast and full of different peoples, yet we all must find ways to understand each other. The next morning, Olivia woke early to prepare breakfast according to the instructions on the tablet. The recipe called for a mixture of earth fruits and strange powders that smelled like cinnamon but looked like blue sand. She followed the directions, carefully measuring each ingredient with precision. Naya emerged from her bedroom just as Olivia was finishing. Her skin seemed duller in the morning light, less shimmery than the day before. Is everything okay? Olivia asked, placing the breakfast on the table. Naya sat down. With a graceful movement, I require sunlight to maintain optimal health. The clouds today are not ideal. She looked at the food, and her skin brightened slightly. This looks correct? Thank you. Olivia watched nervously as Naya took the first bite. The alien closed her eyes for a moment, then nodded. Excellent. The balance of nutrients is perfect. You have a skill for this. Olivia felt oddly proud. I followed your instructions. Instructions can be followed poorly or well. Naya replied. You did well. After breakfast, Naya informed Olivia that they would have visitors later that day. Representatives from the Lysithian embassy will come to discuss my progress. They will expect to see that I am being properly cared for. Olivia felt a spike of anxiety. Should I prepare anything special? Naya shook her head. No, they will be evaluating me, not you. But it would be helpful if you could be present. They may have questions about our arrangement. The visitors arrived precisely at noon. 3 aliens entered the apartment. Each looked similar to Naya, but with subtle differences. One had skin that was more purple than blue. Another had elaborate markings on her face. The third was taller than the others with a more imposing presence. Naya greeted them with a series of chirps and clicks that Olivia's translator couldn't process. Then she switched to English. This is my caretaker, Olivia Taylor. She has been most efficient. The tallest alien stepped forward, examining Olivia with unblinking black eyes. You find this arrangement satisfactory, human? Yes. Olivia said, surprised by the direct question. Lady Naya has been very clear about her needs. The alien tilted her head in that now familiar gesture. Interesting. Most humans find our directness uncomfortable. Olivia smiled slightly. I prefer knowing exactly what someone wants. It makes my job easier. The alien with face markings made a chirping sound. And you are not afraid. Olivia looked at Naya, then back at the visitor. Should I be? All 3 visitors made the chirping sound together. The tallest one spoke again. You have chosen well, Naya, a human with courage. The visitors inspected the apartment, paying special attention to the garden room. They spoke in their native language, occasionally glancing at Olivia. Finally, they prepared to leave. The tall one turned to Olivia again. We are pleased with the arrangement. The treaty allows for cultural exchange. This seems an effective method. You will report any difficulties directly to the embassy. It was not a question, but Olivia nodded. Anyway, yes, of course. After they left, Naya seemed more relaxed. They are satisfied. We will not be disturbed again for some time. Olivia was curious. Were they checking on me or you both? Naya replied, my people are concerned about my safety on your world, and they wanted to ensure I had selected an appropriate human for my needs selected. Olivia repeated, I thought the diplomatic corps assigned me to you, Naya, made that chirping laugh again. No. I reviewed hundreds of potential candidates. I chose you, Olivia, was stunned. Why me? Naya moved to the window looking out at the city. Your previous employers spoke of your adaptability, your willingness to learn new things, your lack of fear when faced with the unknown. These are rare qualities among any species. Olivia joined her at the window, not sure what to say. She had never considered herself special in any way. She had taken this job because it paid well, and a week passed as Olivia settled into her new role. She learned the rhythms of Naya's daily life. The alien woman rose with the sun, spending an hour in her garden room, absorbing nutrients through her skin, a process that fascinated Olivia. Then came breakfast, followed by several hours of reading reports from her homeworld. At midday, Naya would meditate again before having lunch. The afternoons were devoted to studying human culture, which is where Olivia became most involved. Do humans really spend this much time thinking about mating? Naya asked one afternoon as they watched a romantic comedy Olivia had chosen. Olivia nearly choked on her tea. Well, we call it dating or relationships. But yes, it's important to us. Naya tilted her head in that now familiar gesture. My species mates once every 7 years. The process is biological, not emotional. We select partners based on genetic compatibility and status, not on this love concept. That sounds efficient, Olivia said, trying not to sound judgmental. Naya made her chirping laugh. It is efficient, yes, but it lacks certain elements that seem to bring humans joy. Your stories, your music, your art. So much of it centers on this emotional connection between mates. I find it fascinating, if inefficient. Olivia smiled. Some might say the best things in life are inefficient. This requires further study, Naya decided. The next day, a delivery man arrived with packages from the embassy. Olivia opened the door to find a young man in his 20s, holding several large boxes. Delivery for Lady Vex, he said, not quite meeting Olivia's eyes. He'll take those. Olivia reached for the packages, but the man shook his head. Sorry, Mom, I need to deliver these personally. Security protocols. Olivia nodded, understanding. Of course, come in. I'll let Lady Naya know you're here. She found Naya in her garden room. Please excuse the interruption, but there's a delivery man here with packages from the embassy. He needs to see you personally. Naya stood up smoothly, her skin shimmering. With droplets of water from the plants, I will attend to this. Olivia led her to the living room where the delivery man waited. When he saw Naya, he went pale. His eyes widened, and he took an involuntary step backward. Naya approached him, moving with that strange, fluid grace. Her height became more apparent as she towered over him. You have items for me, she said, her voice deeper than usual. The man nodded quickly, unable to speak. He thrust the packages forward, nearly dropping them. Naya took the boxes and smiled, showing her 2 sharp teeth. You have done well, human. Your service is noted. The man swallowed visibly. Thank you, Mom, he stammered. Is there anything else you need? Naya leaned closer. No, you are dismissed. The delivery man practically ran to the door. Olivia followed to let him out, noticing how his hands shook as he pressed the elevator button. When she returned to the living room, Naya was opening the packages. Human males are so easily intimidated, she observed casually. Olivia frowned. You frightened that poor man. Deliberately, Naya looked up, seeming genuinely confused. Is this not the proper way to interact with human males? What? No, Olivia said. Why would you think that? Naya set down the package she was opening. I was instructed. that human males respond best to displays of dominance, that they respect strength and fear, that this is how human females maintain control in their interactions. Olivia stared at her. Who told you that? My cultural briefing officer Naya replied. She studied Earth for many years. She explained that human males must be reminded of their place through subtle intimidation. Olivia tried not to laugh. That is absolutely not how human relationships work. Most human interactions are based on mutual respect, not fear or intimidation. Naya looked troubled. This contradicts my training. I was told human males would attempt to establish dominance if not preemptively controlled. Olivia sat down across from Naya. That might be true of some human males, I suppose. But it's certainly not the norm. And even if someone does try to be dominant, that doesn't mean the appropriate response is intimidation. Naya considered this. My species evolved as predators, she explained. On my world, showing dominance is how we establish social hierarchy. It is not considered threatening, merely necessary. I assumed humans functioned similarly. Olivia shook her head. Humans are complicated. We have all kinds of relationship dynamics, but generally speaking, we prefer relationships based on equality and mutual respect, not dominance and submission. Naya was silent for a long moment, processing this information. This explains much, she said finally. The reactions I have received from human males have been inconsistent with my expectations. They seem frightened rather than respectful. Have you been intimidating all the human men you meet? Olivia asked, trying not to smile. Naya nodded. I believe this was proper protocol. She looked genuinely concerned. Have I been making a diplomatic error? Olivia laughed, unable to help herself. I'm afraid so. Naya looked distressed. This is most unfortunate. I have potentially damaged relations between our species. Olivia reached out and almost touched Naya's arm, before remembering the cultural taboo against casual contact. I doubt you've caused any diplomatic incidents. A few scared delivery guys isn't going to start an interstellar incident. But maybe we should revise your approach to interacting with human men. Nia straightened her posture. Yes, this would be most helpful. You will instruct me in proper human-male interaction protocols. The opportunity came sooner than expected. The next morning, a maintenance worker arrived to fix a minor issue with the apartment's climate control system. Olivia answered the door to find a middle-aged man with a toolbox. Good morning, Mom, he said. Maintenance, I'm here to check the temperature regulation system. Olivia smiled. Come in. I'll let Lady Naya know you're here. She found Naya in the kitchen drinking her morning nutrient shake. Before the man comes in, Olivia said quickly, remember what we discussed. No intimidation. No showing teeth. No looming over him. Just be polite and give him space to work. Naya nodded gravely. I will attempt the equal respect protocol we discussed. When the maintenance man entered the kitchen, he glanced nervously at Naya, who stood by the window. Good morning, Sir, Naya said, her voice carefully modulated to a softer tone than usual. I appreciate your assistance with our climate system. The man looked surprised but nodded. Yes, Mom, happy to help. Shouldn't take long. Naya remained by the window, keeping a respectful distance as the man worked. He occasionally glanced at her but seemed to relax as she made no move to approach him. After about 20 minutes, he packed up his tools all set. Mom, he said to Olivia, it's just a calibration issue. Should work fine now. Thank you for your efficient service. Naya said from her position by the window. The man actually smiled at her. No problem. Mom, you have a good day. After he left, Naya turned to Olivia. That interaction was much more positive. The human male did not seem afraid. Olivia smiled. You did well. That's how most humans prefer to be treated, with respect and space. Naya made a note. On her tablet, I will adjust my protocols accordingly. This equal respect approach is more effective than intimidation. I see now why my briefing was incorrect at over lunch. Olivia was curious about something. Your briefing officer who told you to intimidate human men. Was she a Lysithian who had studied humans, or was she human? Naya tilted her head. She was human. A female named Diana Gordon. She served as cultural attaché to my government for 15 years. Olivia frowned. That makes her advice even stranger. Why would she tell you to intimidate human men? Naya considered this. Perhaps her own experiences with human males were atypical. Or perhaps she misunderstood the natural caution humans show toward my species as a desired response. Or maybe she has. Issues with men, Olivia muttered. That afternoon a call came through on Naya's communication device. She answered it and spoke briefly in her native language before turning to Olivia. The embassy requests my presence for an afternoon briefing, she said. Will you accompany me? They specifically asked that you attend. Olivia was surprised. Me? Why would they want me there? Naya gathered her things. You are part of the cultural exchange program. Your insights may be valuable. An embassy car arrived to take them to the Lysithian compound on the outskirts of the city. The building was stunning with sweeping organic architecture that reminded Olivia of coral reefs. Inside guards that looked similar to Naya, but more heavily muscled, led them to a conference. Room 3. Lysithians waited for them, including the tall one who had visited the apartment. The other two were new to Olivia. One had green-tinged skin rather than blue, and the other wore what appeared to be a uniform of some kind. Naya greeted them, formally then introduced Olivia. This is my human cultural liaison, Olivia Taylor. As requested, she has accompanied me. The tall one spoke. I am First Diplomat Cora. This is Science Officer Mira and Security Chief Lonnie. We have received your report about the cultural misunderstanding regarding human-male interactions. Olivia tried not to look surprised. Naya had reported their conversation to the embassy. Cora continued. This is concerning. Our protocols for interaction with humans were developed based on information provided by our human cultural attaché, Diana Gordon. The green-tinged alien Mira spoke next. We require clarification. Has all of Ms. Gordon's cultural information been incorrect, or only that pertaining to male-female dynamics? Olivia felt uncomfortable being put on the spot. I can speak to all of her advice. But the idea that human women should intimidate human men to maintain control is definitely not accurate for most human cultures. The three aliens exchanged glances. Cora spoke again. This is most troubling. We have based many of our protocols on Ms. Gordon's guidance. The document Olivia created for the Lysithian embassy became more complex than she had anticipated. What started as a simple guide to human interaction grew into a detailed exploration of human social dynamics. By the time she finished, it was nearly 30 pages long, covering everything from personal space to tone of voice to body language. When she submitted it to Naya, the alien read it with remarkable speed, her black eyes scanning the pages faster than any human could. This is excellent, Naya said when she finished, most illuminating. The section on unspoken communication is particularly valuable. My species relies primarily on direct verbal exchange. We do not have this extensive layer of nonverbal cues. I'm glad it's helpful. Olivia said. She had spent several days working on it, often staying up late to perfect the explanations. I tried to cover the basics without getting too technical. Naya made a gesture that Olivia had learned meant appreciation. The embassy has requested that you present this material in person to our diplomatic staff. Would you be willing? Olivia felt a flutter of nervousness. Teach a room full of aliens about human behavior. That wasn't what she'd signed up for, but she found herself nodding. Yes, I can do. That the presentation was scheduled for the following week, giving Olivia time to prepare. She created visual aids and practiced her delivery. Naya offered suggestions, helping her understand which concepts would be most foreign to the Lysithian mindset. As the day approached, Olivia grew increasingly anxious. This would be her first time addressing a group of aliens in a formal setting. She worried about saying the wrong thing, or inadvertently causing offense. The night before the presentation, Olivia couldn't sleep. She sat in the living room staring out at the city lights. When Naya found her there, the alien observed her silently for a moment. You are concerned about tomorrow, Naya said. Olivia nodded. I'm afraid I'll make a mistake. What if I give them the wrong impression about humans? What if I make things worse instead of better? Naya sat across from her. Why do you believe your insights would be harmful? Olivia sighed. I'm just one human, I can't speak for all of humanity. What if my personal biases give your people a skewed understanding? Naya considered this. Your awareness of this limitation is precisely why your perspective is valuable. You do not claim universal knowledge. You acknowledge the diversity of human experience. This humility is more instructive than certainty. Would-be Olivia looked at Naya surprised. The alien continued. No single Lysithian could speak for our entire species either. We understand this. We do not expect you to represent all humans, merely to share your honest observations. Somehow this reassurance helped Olivia relax. If they didn't expect her to be the perfect representative of humanity, perhaps she could just be herself. The embassy was buzzing with activity when they arrived the next morning. Olivia was led to a large conference room where about 20 Lysithians waited. Some wore what appeared to be military uniforms. Others were dressed in flowing robes, similar to what Naya often wore. First diplomat, Cora, introduced her. This is Olivia Taylor, cultural liaison to third daughter Naya. She has prepared a briefing on human social dynamics with particular focus on correcting our misunderstandings regarding male-female interactions. Olivia took a deep breath and began her presentation. She explained basic concepts of human personal space, showed examples of body language through videos she'd prepared, and outlined the difference between professional and personal relationships. She emphasized that human interaction was based on context, not rigid rules. When she reached the section on gender dynamics, she treaded carefully. Human relationships between men and women are diverse and complex, she explained. Some cultures are more patriarchal with men holding more power. Others strive for more equality. But in modern global society, the ideal is generally mutual respect, regardless of gender. Intimidation is not a standard protocol for any gender interaction. One of the Lysithians in military dress spoke up, but humans do establish dominance hierarchies. Yes, this is evident in your workplace structures, your governments, your military. Yes, Olivia agreed. But these hierarchies are usually based on agreed-upon systems like elections or merit promotions, not on physical intimidation. And they're not strictly divided along gender lines. Another alien tilted her head. Yet humans do respond to physical intimidation. This has been observed. Olivia nodded. People might comply with someone who intimidates them, but that doesn't mean they respect them. It usually creates resentment, not cooperation, and it's generally considered inappropriate behavior in most social and professional settings. The questions continued for nearly 2 hours. The Lysithians were intensely curious, probing. For exceptions and nuances, Olivia did her best to explain the complexities of human society, answering honestly when she didn't know something. Finally, Cora ended the session. This has been most informative. We will need to significantly revise our interaction protocols. She turned to Olivia. Your insights have been valuable. We would welcome your continued consultation on human cultural matters. Olivia looked at Naya, who gave a slight nod. Yes, of course, I'm happy to help. As they left the embassy, Naya seemed pleased. You did well. They were impressed by your knowledge and your honesty. Olivia wasn't so sure. I feel like I barely scratched the surface. Humans are so diverse, it's impossible to create universal rules for how we interact. Precisely, Naya said. That is what they needed to understand. That your species requires adaptability, not rigid protocols. Back at the apartment, a message was waiting for them. Diana Gordon, the former cultural attaché, had been contacted about the misinformation she'd provided. She had requested a meeting with Naya, and specifically asked that Olivia be present. Naya showed Olivia the message. Do you wish to meet with her? Olivia was curious about the woman who had given such strange advice. Yes, I think we should hear what she has to say. Gordon arrived the next day. She was an elegant woman in her 60s with silver hair and sharp eyes. She carried herself with the confidence of someone accustomed to authority. When Olivia let her in, Gordon barely acknowledged, her focusing instead on Naya. Lady Vex, she said with a formal bow. I understand there has been some confusion about my cultural guidance. Naya gestured toward the living room. Please join us, Ms. Gordon. This is Olivia Taylor, my current cultural liaison. Gordon gave Olivia a dismissive glance before sitting. Yes, I was informed that your caretaker has been contradicting my expertise. Olivia felt a flicker of annoyance at being referred to as just a caretaker, but she kept her expression neutral. Naya sat across from Gordon. My embassy has concerns about the accuracy of certain protocols you established, particularly regarding human male-female interaction dynamics. Gordon waved a hand dismissively. A misunderstanding? I'm sure my guidance was based on decades of observation. Your people took my nuanced explanations too literally. Olivia couldn't help herself. Ms. Gordon, did you actually tell the Lysithians that human women should intimidate men? Gordon turned cold eyes on Olivia. I explained the complex power dynamics between genders on Earth. I described how women must often project strength to be taken seriously in male-dominated environments. The Lysithians may have interpreted this more broadly than intended. Naya tilted her head. You specifically instructed that showing dominance and occasional threatening behavior was the optimal approach when interacting with human males. These were your exact words. Gordon flushed slightly. I was preparing your people for the reality of Earth gender politics. Sometimes diplomatic guidance must be simplified for alien understanding. Olivia frowned. But that simplification led to diplomatic misunderstandings. The Lysithian diplomats have been intimidating human male officials for years based on your advice. Gordon stiffened. And perhaps those officials finally treated an alien species with the respect they deserve rather than the condescension they typically show. Her voice had taken on a bitter edge. Naya watched Gordon with those unblinking black eyes. I begin to understand your guidance was not cultural education but personal agenda. Gordon stood up abruptly. I served your government faithfully for 15 years. I provided invaluable insights into human behavior. My record stands for itself. Olivia saw it clearly now. Gordon had used her position to manipulate alien-human relations, pushing her own views about gender politics. She had taken advantage of the Lysithians' literal-mindedness to create protocols that matched her personal worldview, not actual human norms. Naya rose to her full height, towering over Gordon. You misused your position. You provided information you knew would be misinterpreted. This has damaged relations between our species. Gordon took a step back, seeming to realize she had lost control of the situation. I was hired to prepare your people for dealing with humans. I did so in a way that would ensure they received proper respect, Ms. Gordon. Naya said, her voice cold. You are no longer welcome as a cultural consultant to the Lysithian embassy. A formal complaint will be filed with Earth Diplomatic Services regarding your conduct. Gordon's face hardened. Fine, you've chosen to listen to a chef rather than an experienced diplomat. You will regret this decision. She turned and left without another word. After she was gone, Olivia let out a breath she hadn't realized she was holding. That was intense. Naya nodded. This explains much. The inconsistencies in our protocols. The unexpected reactions from humans. She turned to Olivia. I am grateful for your honesty. You could have used your position to push your own agenda as she did. Instead, you acknowledged the complexity and diversity of human experience. 2 days after receiving the embassy offer, Olivia was still undecided. She continued her regular duties, caring for Naya's plants, preparing her meals, and helping her understand human culture. But the job offer remained in the back of her mind, a constant presence. Naya had not pressed her for an answer, respecting her need to consider the opportunity carefully. But Olivia could tell the alien was curious about her decision. That afternoon they were scheduled to attend a diplomatic reception at the Earth Government Center. Naya explained that it was a routine event meant to foster goodwill between species. You should wear formal attire. Naya said, it will be a gathering of officials from various governments, both human and non-human. Olivia frowned. I don't own anything formal enough for a diplomatic event. Naya tilted her head. This is easily remedied. She tapped her communication device and spoke briefly in her native language. Within an hour, a delivery arrived containing several elegant dresses. Naya gestured to the packages. Select whichever you prefer. They are gifts, not loans. Olivia was stunned by the generosity. These must have cost a fortune. Naya made her chirping laugh. Cost is irrelevant. You represent my household at this function. Your appearance reflects on my status. These are diplomatic necessities, not extravagances. Olivia chose a deep blue dress that complemented her coloring. When she emerged from her room, Naya studied her appearance with approval. You will be noticed, she said. Your appearance is aesthetically pleasing by both human and Lysithian standards. Olivia smiled at the strange compliment. Thank you. I think Naya herself wore a flowing silver garment that seemed to move like liquid metal, catching the light with every movement. She also wore what appeared to be jewelry, elaborate metal pieces that curled around her long blue arms. Are those decorative or functional? Olivia asked, gesturing to the metal bands. Naya held up her arm. Both these indicate my house and rank, but also contain various technologies, communication sensors, emergency translators. Such things are integrated into our formal attire. The reception was held in the Grand Hall of the Earth Government Center, a massive space with soaring ceilings and walls, made entirely of glass. The view of the city was spectacular, with the setting sun casting everything in golden light. As they entered, Olivia became acutely aware that she was surrounded by diplomats and officials from dozens of worlds. Humans mingled with various alien species, some humanoid, others wildly different in form. She recognized Centaurians with their 4 arms, Proxima delegates with their translucent skin, and several other species she had seen only in news reports. Naya was immediately greeted by several officials, both human and alien. She introduced Olivia to each of them. This is Olivia Taylor, my cultural liaison, she would say. And each time the person or alien would look at Olivia with increased interest. A human official from the Earth Diplomatic Corps, a middle-aged woman with a severe hairstyle, raised her eyebrows. Cultural liaison. That's a new title for the Lysithian embassy, she remarked. Naya tilted her head. Ms. Taylor has provided valuable insights into human social dynamics. She has helped correct several misunderstandings in our protocols. The official looked at Olivia with new respect. Really? And what is your background in cross-cultural communication? Ms. Taylor, before Olivia could explain that she was actually a chef, Naya spoke. Ms. Taylor has a unique talent for observing and explaining the nuances of human behavior. Her insights have been most valuable to our diplomatic efforts. The official nodded, impressed. Then she turned to Naya. The trade agreement is proceeding well. I believe we can finalize terms by the end of the month. As the evening progressed, Olivia found herself drawn into conversations with various diplomats. Many seemed curious about her role with the Lysithians. Others simply treated her as part of Naya's delegation, assuming she held an official position. Olivia was standing near the refreshment table when she overheard 2 human men talking nearby. They're intimidating as hell, one said quietly. But I've noticed they're less aggressive. Lately, the Lysithian delegation. Last month one of them practically threatened me during negotiations, but today they were almost pleasant. The other man nodded. I've noticed the same thing. Wonder what changed. Olivia smiled to herself, but said nothing. She was reaching for a glass of water when someone spoke behind her. So you're the one who's been changing Lysithian protocols. She turned to find a tall human man in his 50s watching her with interest. I'm sorry, Olivia said. Who are you, Miles? Carter, he said, extending his hand. Earth Diplomatic Service, Alien Affairs Division. I've been working with the Lysithian embassy for 5 years. He glanced toward Naya, who was engaged in conversation across the room. Your employer is third daughter. Naya, correct? Olivia nodded. Yes, that's right. Carter smiled. Interesting. The Lysithian embassy has been implementing new interaction protocols over the past few weeks, particularly regarding how they engage with human males. The change has been quite dramatic. He studied her face, and I hear these changes stem from insights provided by Naya's new cultural liaison. Olivia felt uncomfortable under his scrutiny. "I'm just trying to help them understand humans better." Carter nodded thoughtfully. "You know, Diana Gordon was convinced that the Lysithians needed to project dominance to earn respect from human males, particularly those in positions of power. She pushed that agenda for years." "Did you work with her?" Olivia asked. Carter grimaced. "Unfortunately, yes. She was brilliant but had some strong opinions about gender dynamics, let's say. She used her position to push those views, like telling aliens to intimidate human men," Olivia said. Carter chuckled. "Exactly. Though to be fair, the Lysithians can be intimidating without even trying. 7-foot-tall apex predators with those teeth." He shuddered slightly, but Gordon deliberately encouraged it, said it was the only way they'd be taken seriously by the old boys club in diplomatic circles. Olivia frowned. "That's manipulation, not cultural education." "Exactly," Carter agreed, "which is why your work is so important." He glanced at her. "You have an offer from the embassy." "I hear. News travels fast," Olivia remarked. "In diplomatic circles always." Carter said, "Have you decided whether to accept?" Olivia shook her head. "Not yet." Carter handed her a card. "If you'd like to discuss what such a role really entails, feel free to contact me. I've worked with alien delegations for 20 years. It's rewarding work but complex." He smiled and moved away, leaving Olivia with even more to think about. Later, as they returned to the apartment, Naya was quiet. She seemed to be processing the evening's events. "You were well received," she said finally. "The Earth officials were impressed by you," Olivia laughed. "I don't know why I didn't do anything special." Naya tilted her head. "You were authentic. That is rare in diplomatic circles. Most humans present carefully constructed versions of themselves at such functions. You remained yourself. That is noticed and valued." Olivia considered this. "Do you do that too? Present a constructed version of yourself?" Naya was silent for a moment. "Yes," she admitted. "In my position, I must represent my house, my government, and my species. I cannot simply be myself, as you say." Olivia felt a pang of sympathy for the alien. "That sounds exhausting." "It is necessary," Naya replied. Then after a pause she added, "But in this apartment with you, I am closer to my true self than in any other context on Earth." The admission surprised Olivia. She had never thought about Naya having to maintain appearances. "What are you like?" "Really, I mean when you're not being a diplomat." Naya looked out the window at the night sky. "My interests, my thoughts, my preferences, these are not relevant to my duties, but they're relevant to you," Olivia said. "And to me if we're friends." Naya turned to her. "The concept of friendship is not well developed among my species. We evolved as solitary hunters coming together only for specific purposes. But you're not on your world now," Olivia pointed out. "You're here and humans value friendship. We share our real selves with friends." Naya considered this. "On my world, I study ancient poetry," she said suddenly. "The classical forms that predate our technological age. Most consider this outdated, a waste of time for someone in a diplomatic position." Olivia smiled. "See, was that so hard to share?" Naya made her chirping laugh. "It feels strange to discuss personal matters. They are irrelevant to my function." "Maybe on your world," Olivia said. "But here personal connections matter. They build trust, and trust makes everything else work better." The next morning, Olivia woke to find Naya already in the garden room. She appeared to be reciting something in her native language. The sounds were melodic, rising and falling in a pattern that seemed almost like music. Naya noticed her and stopped. "I was practicing ancient verses," she explained, seemingly embarrassed. "I did not mean to disturb you." "It was beautiful." Olivia said. "What were you reciting?" Naya hesitated, then explained. "The Sundawn verses. They were composed 5,000 years ago by a hunter poet. They describe the moment when our second sun rises over the eastern mountains." Olivia sat nearby. "Is poetry important in your culture?" Naya tilted her head. "It was once before we became a spacefaring civilization. The ancient arts have been largely forgotten, replaced by more practical pursuits. But some of us still preserve the old ways. Olivia was fascinated by this glimpse into Lysithian culture. Would you teach me some of your poetry? Naya seemed surprised by the request. You wish to learn Lysithian verses. Olivia nodded. If I'm going to help your people understand humans, maybe I should try to understand your culture too. Naya considered this fair exchange. She agreed. Then she began to teach Olivia a simple verse explaining the meanings behind the alien words. The morning passed. The 7-day deadline loomed over Olivia as she tried to decide what to do. She continued her duties caring for Naya's needs, but a new tension existed between them. Neither mentioned the embassy offer or Naya's imminent departure, but these unspoken facts colored every interaction. Olivia spent her free time researching the Lysithian Empire, trying to better understand the culture and politics of Naya's homeworld. What she learned was both fascinating and concerning. The empire was ancient and powerful with a rigid social hierarchy. The ruling houses dominated politics, trade, and military affairs. While they maintained peaceful relations with Earth, their society was fundamentally different from human democracies. 5 days after Naya's announcement, they received an unexpected visitor. Diana Gordon arrived unannounced at the apartment. Olivia almost didn't let her in, but Naya overruled her. We will hear what she has to say. Naya decided. Gordon entered with the same haughty confidence she'd displayed before, but there was a new edge to her manner, a barely contained anger. So you're leaving Earth, she said to Naya without preamble. Naya tilted her head. You have been informed of my recall. Gordon smiled thinly. I still have contacts within your embassy. Not everyone there thinks I'm wrong about how humans operate. She turned her cold gaze to Olivia. And I hear you've been offered my old position. How convenient. Olivia crossed her arms. I haven't accepted yet. No, Gordon said. I imagine you're struggling with the decision. The prestige is tempting, but you're beginning to realize the complications, aren't you? Naya watched Gordon carefully. Why have you come? Ms. Gordon. Gordon turned back to the alien. I came to warn you both. The Lysithian Empire isn't interested in cultural understanding. They want influence, control, advantage like any powerful nation. Your mission here was never about improving diplomatic relations. It was about learning human weaknesses. Naya stiffened. You speak of matters beyond your knowledge. Gordon laughed. I worked for your government for 15 years. I saw the classified briefings. I know what your superiors really want. She looked at Olivia. They want to understand humans so they can manipulate us more effectively. Their interest in our culture is strategic, not friendly. Is that true? Olivia asked. Naya was silent for a long moment. Then she spoke. All governments seek advantage. Ms. Gordon overstates and oversimplifies, but there is truth in her words. My mission has diplomatic and strategic elements. This is true of all diplomatic postings from all worlds. Gordon pointed at Naya. There you have it. And now she smiled at Olivia. They want to use you just like they used me. The difference is I knew I was being used. I worked it to my advantage. You're still naive enough to think this is about friendship and understanding. Olivia felt her cheeks flush with anger. I don't need you to tell me what I think. Gordon ignored her, turning back to Naya. Your replacement has already been selected. Third son Kelvar from House Marin. He believes in the old protocols. My protocols. He thinks your new approach is weak and ineffective. Naya showed no reaction. This is a matter for my government, not for former human consultants. Gordon smiled again. I thought you should know what you're returning to. Your progressive ideas aren't popular back home in you. She turned to Olivia. If you take the embassy job, you'll be working with people who think humans should be intimidated, not respected. Your little cultural revolution won't last a month after Naya leaves. With that, Gordon left. Leaving a heavy silence behind her, Olivia looked at Naya, wanting to ask if what Gordon said was true, but afraid of the answer. Naya spoke first. Kelvar is indeed my replacement. He is more traditional in his views. Olivia sat down, feeling suddenly tired. So everything I did, the presentation, the new protocols, it was all for nothing. Naya moved to stand near her. Nothing is ever for nothing. Your insights have. Value your perspective has been recorded and considered. Some will dismiss it. Others will not. Is Gordon right about your mission? Olivia asked quietly. Was it all just about gaining advantage over humans? Naya was silent for a long moment. I was sent to learn, she said finally. To understand human behavior patterns, weaknesses, strengths. This knowledge has strategic value. Yes, but understanding is not inherently hostile. It can lead to better relations, more productive interactions, fewer conflicts. Olivia wasn't sure if that made her feel better or worse. She had been naive thinking she was helping build bridges between species, when really she was just a tool in a larger political game. That night she couldn't sleep. She kept thinking about Gordon's words and Naya's carefully measured response. The next morning she called Miles Carter and arranged to meet him again. When they met at the same cafe, Carter could see her troubled expression. Something happened, he said. Livia told him about Gordon's visit and her claims about the Lysithian agenda. When she finished, Carter sighed. Gordon isn't entirely wrong, he admitted. The Lysithians, like any major power, are always looking for advantage. But she's not entirely right either. Diplomacy is complex. It's not just about manipulation. It's about finding ways for different peoples to coexist, even compete without destroying each other. So if I take this job, am I just helping them manipulate humans? Olivia asked. Carter shook his head. Not necessarily. Look, the Lysithians will pursue their interests with or without you. The question is whether they'll do it with accurate or inaccurate information about humans. Gordon gave them a distorted view that led to unnecessary tension. You could provide a more balanced perspective. That helps both sides. Olivia considered this. What do you know about third son? Kelver. Carter frowned. Traditionalist military background, believes in strength above all else, not the diplomat it'd choose to send to Earth, and he'll be in charge at the embassy when Naya leaves, Olivia said. Carter nodded. If you take the job, you'll be working for him. Yes, Olivia thanked Carter for his honesty and left with even more to think about. On her way back to the apartment, she stopped at a small park, sitting on a bench to watch children play on a playground nearby. She needed time to sort through her thoughts. 2 days later, with the deadline approaching, Olivia finally made her decision. She found Naya in the garden room among her alien plants. I need to talk to you about the embassy offer, Olivia said. Naya turned to face her, her black eyes unreadable. You have reached a decision, yes? Olivia took a deep breath. I'm not going to accept the position. Naya tilted her head. May I ask why? Olivia had carefully considered how to explain her choice. After meeting with Gordon again and talking with Carter, I realized something important as this work is. I don't think I'm the right person for it. I'm not a diplomat or a politician. I'm a chef who got pulled into something much bigger than I expected. I don't have the training or experience for this kind of responsibility. Naya was silent for a moment. Your self-assessment is honest, but perhaps overly modest. You have demonstrated considerable skill in cross-cultural communication. Olivia smiled. Thank you. But I also realize something else. I don't want to stay here working for someone like Kelvar who doesn't share your approach. I think I'd be constantly fighting against his traditional views. Naya nodded. This is likely correct. Olivia took another deep breath. So I have a counter-proposal. Naya tilted her head. I am listening. I want to go with you, she said. To Lysithea. Naya went completely still. Her alien features. Impossible. To read, you wish to travel to my homeworld, yes? Olivia said. You said your mission was to learn about humans to understand us better. Well, what better way to do that than to bring a human with you? I could continue as your cultural liaison, help implement your new protocols. And I could learn about your world firsthand. It would be a true cultural exchange. Naya seemed genuinely surprised. This is unexpected. Your proposal has merit, but there would be significant challenges. Lysithea has different environmental conditions, gravity, temperature, atmospheric composition. Some areas would require you to use breathing apparatus. The food would need to be specially prepared. I'm not afraid of challenges, Olivia said, and I think I could do more good there than here, fighting against Kelvar's old-fashioned ideas. Naya made her chirping laugh. You continue to surprise me, Olivia Taylor. This proposal would require approval from both our governments. It is unprecedented, but not impossible. Olivia said. No, Naya agreed. Not impossible. I will submit your proposal to my superiors. The next few days passed in a blur of anticipation and anxiety. Naya spent hours in communication with her government explaining Olivia's proposal and advocating for its approval. Olivia, meanwhile, had to apply for special clearance from Earth authorities to travel to Lysithea. No ordinary human had ever visited the alien homeworld before. Only high-ranking diplomats and officials had made the journey. 5 days later, the answer came. Naya's government had approved the proposal with conditions Olivia would be allowed to visit Lysithea for 1 Earth year as a cultural consultant to House Vex. She would be under Naya's direct supervision and would be restricted to certain areas of the planet for her own safety. Olivia was elated when Naya told her the news. When do we leave? She asked. In 16 days, Naya replied. There are many preparations to make medical treatments to help you adapt to our world. Documentation training. The next 2 weeks were intense. Olivia received a series of medical treatments designed to help her body cope with Lysithea's environment. She studied basic Lysithian language and customs. She was briefed on protocols and restrictions. She sold most of her possessions, keeping only personal items with sentimental value. Her family was shocked by her decision but supportive. Her friends thought she was either brave or crazy or both.